For most of us, $1 million is a hell of a lot of money. But what we want to find out is exactly what 1 million Australian dollars can buy you across all of Australia. We're going to take random examples from each state individually and compare them one by one to find out exactly what $1 million can buy you right now in 2024. So what we're looking at right now is the first of the Western Australian properties. This is number 32 Chatsworth Gate in Canning Vale. Now, I'm in Western Australia, so I know most of these areas relatively well. Canning Vale, in a sense, is a general population area, nothing too flash in either direction of the spectrum. So what we have in front of us is a relatively recent new construction. It genuinely looks like a pretty standard project home. Inside, furniture is very dated, interior is very dated. We still have arches, which makes me believe there may have been some renovations to this house. Overall, it is not something you would expect $1 million to be worth off the bat. We have an old stereo in the fireplace that has been covered up. So even looking at that fireplace, I'd be expecting this house to be a good 30-40 years old. The kitchen itself definitely needs a renovation. It is not something that you would be expecting in $1 million property. However, unfortunately, post-pandemic, everything is so much more expensive than it used to be. Again, kitchen, absolutely nothing special. We've got a little outdoor gym that the owner has originally set up, and we've got exposed bricks inside. What we do have is, of course, ducted AC, which does look like the very old evaporative system, so it doesn't even look like it's been upgraded to reverse cycle. Flicking through these pictures relatively quickly because we have a lot to get through. There really isn't anything special. The bathrooms need a complete makeover as well. They still can do the job. They still look in pretty decent condition with a spa bath, but overall it is very, very cheap stuff. Things 20 years ago you would have seen selling for a fifth of the price. It does look like it has an attic, which is a nice addition. So there is quite a bit of space in this house. Overall, gardens aren't very well maintained, but there is some of them. And we're looking at a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage on 610 square meters of land for exactly $1 million. Now, I think this is a good benchmark where we can actually start off our research today and our sites today. So in Canning Vale, first of Western Australia, let's move on to the second link. So now we move to a property in Myaree, which looks a little bit nicer and a little bit more maintained. Myaree, at least in my opinion, is a little bit of a step up from Canning Vale, and we are paying a little bit more of a premium on this property. $1.2 million will buy you a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage in Myaree with 425 square meters of land. So per square meter, you're paying a lot more for the land here, and you're getting less bang for your buck in the house as well. Recently renovated by the looks of things, VJ board on the feature wall of the bedroom, some relatively rustic furniture, hardwood floors and tiles throughout. Rain heads, looks like the bathroom has been renovated. Standard for the spare bathroom as well, nothing too special, but you know, tiles in the shower, a couple of subway tiles here and there. Kitchen as well, relatively new, so we aren't going too prehistoric here, but it is very, very basic. Limited upper cabinetry in this kitchen image, limited lower cabinetry, pretty standard cooktops, ovens, range hoods, and a general open plan living design. So for $1.2 million, you're probably getting a little bit of a nicer finish in a little bit of a nicer area, a smaller house, that's for sure, compared to the previous one we saw. But for $1.2 million, you're now starting to look at something that is relatively new and relatively reasonable. Now we're moving to Ocean Reef in Western Australia. Once again, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-car garage. So these houses seem to be getting smaller as we go up in price. For $1.35 million, it looks like you're getting, once again, a little bit of a nicer finish. I wouldn't say there's too much of a difference between this and the last property we just saw. There is a lot more steps, sunken lounges, spaces that you have to go in between levels here. So it wouldn't really be too appealing to the aging population here in Western Australia. But it does look like you get a sneaky little ocean view right outside of this dining room table. So maybe that's why you're paying $1.35 million. Plastered walls, overhead cabinetry, a bit of an upgrade from the last items that we saw. A very beautiful ocean view from that kitchen sink here on the left-hand side. Very small island bench in the middle, so definitely not appropriate for those who like to cook. However, we have all our standard amenities and there isn't really too much missing. The size of this property is a definite letdown. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 car garage, all relatively new, all relatively renovated. Flicking through a little bit further, we have a very dated alfresco area. So it's clear to me most of this property has been renovated. So you're paying a premium pretty penny for a renovated property, not a brand new one. But you do get that ocean view. So you know what, for $1 million and you're still getting an ocean view, that is a pretty decent deal in my opinion. And as they like to market here, the beautiful West Coast sunsets as well. Overall, not bad for 1.35 million, a little bit small though nonetheless. Next, we're moving a little bit further south in Western Australia to Serpentine. But this looks like a brand new property. They haven't even finished landscaping any of the outside. So it's still sand for 1.15 million. You're getting a lot more land for your money here though. 1 hectare and a 4x2x2 home. If we look at it relatively quickly, no garage, but you do have a double carport and what looks like a very nice large shed in the background. It is going to be a rural property, so obviously rural style fencing, generally a new home that looks like a Starlink satellite on top, so limited reception, limited service. You can see it is a huge property, 10,000 square meters of open land. They've literally just cleared as much as they can, left a little bit of native vegetation around the sides and the back, but you're not really protected from your neighbors. On that left-hand side, it isn't hedged, it isn't screened. You are protected from the right. So overall, quite nice nonetheless. Inside, again, this is a brand new property from a project builder would be my expectation. So you're gonna get project finishes throughout. We have a nice new kitchen, quartz stone tops, range hood and cooktops all brand new. The black splashback and the black kitchen, probably not to my taste. A little bit too dark, a little bit too much of a contrast. Pelmet sliding doors into the hallway is definitely a bit of a country style for this home. Relatively large theatre room, master bedrooms, very well finished off dado height tiles in the bathroom. Continuing that black cabinetry throughout. Again, not a huge fan personally, but that's okay. The home probably cost $500,000 to build. The land was probably just under that and the shed probably another 100 on top. So realistically, you might be paying exactly what it would cost to rebuild you this property. Inside the shed, it is massive. You've got a little workshop, you've got a little kitchenette. So there's a little bit going on, and obviously they've got horses on this property as well, hence all the sand. So from a floor plan perspective, home start, there we go. It is a very basic home builder, nothing architectural, nothing special, and you're paying over $1 million. Obviously, the market has changed so much since we used to know it. Let's move on to the Northern Territory and see what we have. Now, I don't know these areas around Australia as well as I do these in Western Australia, so we'll skim through this quickly. $1 million almost on the dot for a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 3-car garage on 2.2 hectares, a beautiful piece of land. You get a swimming pool, open design, very large, spacious home. Again, relatively project home, but much nicer finishes. Ceiling fans throughout, massive tropical property. It is absolutely huge. You could do some incredible stuff with this amount of land. All tropical, very hot, very humid up in the Northern Territory. So it is a very different climate to what we have here in Western Australia. Overall, rainwater tanks included. Not a bad property start for the Northern Territory for $1 million. However, as I say that, I realize there is multiple areas in this house that haven't been renovated. Potentially that might be the granny flat at the back and a small little strange glass box as well. Either way, $1 million gets you quite a lot for this property here. Moving up in the world, in the Northern Territory, 220 square meters of land, 221 to be exact, which is a substantial drop from what we just looked at 2 hectares. You're paying $1.3 million for a 4-bedroom, what appears to be apartment. So yes, you get some beautiful ocean views from this apartment. Very small, very compact, air conditioning, ceiling fans, roller shutters, the works. You have everything you could possibly need. It looks like you don't just get ocean views from the kitchen, but from the master bedroom, full ensuite, and additional views from some of the spare bedrooms. Bathrooms a little lackluster. Finishes and choices a little bit basic as well. However, those turquoise waters definitely make up for it. The layout, relatively simple. 4 bedrooms, media room, balcony, 3 bathrooms and a linen. So it is actually probably quite large for an apartment, all things considered. But that's going to set you back $1.3 million for 221 square meters of unit, not land. You do not get land in this deal. The next option is back to our $1 million price tag. So again, in the Northern Territory, a little bit larger, 259 square meters. Water views, not ocean views, not turquoise. You do get a lot of lush greenery in this view as well, but it is a little bit more dated. We're looking at a much older property here with not as nice amenities. Significantly smaller, appears to have been renovated as well. Layout is very early 1990s, if not even older, but it does have a little bit of a hotel vibe as well. So this master ensuite here is very similar to what you'd see in a hotel. Potentially this was a hotel conversion, but without reading all of these descriptions, we can't be certain for sure. Now we're back to houses. Once again, moving up in that price bracket. $1.3 million gets you just under 600 square meters of land, 557 to be exact, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage. Extremely common here in Australia. We have a little bit of a newer finish by the seams of things, a little bit more of an architectural style, skillion monopitched roofs in 2 directions, a pool, relatively nice maintained garden as well. So overall, this is probably one of the nicest houses we've seen to date in this series, which is slightly concerning considering how many properties we've looked at, but it is definitely one of the best so far. Generally, nice bathrooms, nice bedrooms, ceiling fans, cabinetry, a little outdoor entertaining area with a built-in barbecue as well. So you're definitely getting quite a lot of amenities here that you haven't been able to see in the other properties. I have no idea where this is in the Northern Territory, so you could be in a terrible area, you could be in a great area, but again, completely sealed off, completely fenced, a little bit more architectural. $1.3 million gets you a genuinely nice design. But now we're moving up into the big boys, $1.45 million. That's almost 50% over our original starting price and our goal of spending $1 million. In the Northern Territory, if you want to live on the water and have your own private jetty, you can do that. So we're looking at $1.5 million right now, skillion roof, pool, its own custom jetty overhanging into the water itself. This is quite nice. I'm actually liking this from a starting point. Now, yes, this is a dated house. You can see the roof has seen better days. It's very tropical and very lush, and everybody seems to have a pool. So it's most likely in a decent area. I hate the red, I hate the brown, I hate most of the colors, but that can all be painted. It looks like a very tropical paradise here, something that you could genuinely spend quite a bit of time at. And inside we've got polished concrete, a bit of a dated kitchen, needs a bit of a refresh, a relatively long, nice lap pool, and they're really trying obviously to sell the outside more than the inside, because I've seen 1 photo of the inside and 100 photos of the outside so far. We skip through some more. The doors aren't matching. Obviously, this hasn't been fully thought out. This does look like it was a high-end kitchen once upon a time, but obviously time has passed. It's clear that nobody's living here at the moment, and it is polished concrete throughout. Bathrooms, very dated, needs a bit of love. Very low ceilings from what I can see in this, and a floor plan that is somewhat confusing to understand from the photos, so I'm glad they've included this as well. Overall, pretty standard stuff. 4 bedrooms, media room, multiple living spaces, kitchen and outdoor area. You're obviously spending $1.5 million on this property in the Northern Territory for the water access. Now, I don't know where else you can get $1.5 million water access. Potentially here in Western Australia on the Mandurah canals. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, maybe I didn't spend enough time at that $1.5 million bracket. But for now, the Northern Territory is leading the race with this water view. Moving to South Australia and Adelaide, we are starting at the upper limit, $1.5 million, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage. Again, 457 square meters of land, so you're not getting a huge piece of land, but you are getting a nice little old cottage. So to be honest, I clicked on this one because I like the cottage, I like the greenery, I like the arbors, and I thought it was a cute little design, something that has been here for a long time, and I was hoping had been restored in a very tasteful manner. I haven't seen any of these insides, I haven't seen any of these photos except the cover image, so I am finding out exactly what's going on here with you guys. Gardens have been extremely well maintained, so it's clearly an elderly couple, because in my experience, nobody can handle a garden this nice unless you're retired. So they have done an exceptional job keeping their garden maintained. Inside, high vaulted ceilings raking both sides, absolutely minimal, clean, nice oak floors. This has definitely been done in a tasteful manner. Even their art is very minimal and clean. I'm quite enjoying this. From a starting point, furniture not so much, a bit dated for me, but otherwise the space in itself is very nice. The kitchen needs a refresh, quite old, quite dated. Cabinetry is definitely a good 15-20 years old in style. That doesn't mean it is, but it definitely is a little older style. French doors, sheer curtains, and a very dated bathroom. But overall, we have a genuinely nice little property with a small courtyard and not too much to complain about. Personally, I think this is a great start for Adelaide, and I'm hoping to see some excellent examples moving forward. So clearly we started on something that was in the outskirts of Adelaide, because this is $1.5 million as well. It's on significantly more land, and it's a 3x1x1 for the same asking price of $1.5 million with a giant tree in the front yard. I think that's the front yard, we'll find out. However, this is definitely not nearly as nice as the last image we saw. The grass is overgrown, it's dead and patchy inside, it's got mold on the carpets, it is... oh, okay, this probably we would start considering knocking down. The carpets are completely worn, the cabinetry is about to fall off its hinges, the wallpaper is peeling off the actual walls, and you can see excessive amounts of mold in the corners. This would not be a hygienic home to live in, and I hope whoever buys this does a major renovation if they're planning on keeping it, and rectifying all of this mold issues. The bathroom, significant water damage. Jesus. $1.5 million closer to the CBD of Adelaide clearly does not get you a lot, so this land must be worth almost all of this sale. The walls are destroyed, the cabinetry in the kitchen is still holding up, but I wouldn't trust it. The walls are fully cracking, fully splitting, and overall, that's a lot of money for a piece of land. So it looks like we are in a nice area, because if we look at the two houses on the side, they look extremely impressive. Moving back into the project home territory in South Australia, 280 square meters of land, a very small parcel, 3x2, under $1 million. So this is our first house under $1 million, and it is your generic project home. It's something that you could literally buy in a catalogue. It appears to be some sort of duplex or strata or common property. As you can see, the gutters are connecting here, so they are not independent properties, but they are still genuinely new. Whoever did work through this project home did make some nicer selections. They did put a little bit of care and love into it. It is small, it is compact, obviously 280 square meters. The furniture's a little bit nicer as well. So it's most likely a younger couple who has just styled their home. Overall, you're getting a relatively nicely selected and finished project home that is very compact. Nonetheless, for under $1 million, I can only assume by this little map, close to the beach, close to the shopping centres, close to all the amenities you need, is a pretty good deal. Sticking to our $1 million budget, once again, we have a nice bit of land, 700 square meters, 5x2x3, and something a little bit nicer, a little bit more tropical, indoor, outdoor vibes straight away from the first image. Wood fireplace, a outdoor entertaining kitchen area, crazy paved tiles, TV, an older roof, a bit of a hatchet job at the fence covering, but genuinely a nice space outside. A pool as well, we've got lush greenery, and we've got what appears to be a renovated home. You can tell straight away by those ceiling fans, contrasting with the modern architectural elements that they've tried to introduce here. The glass fireplace, the vinyl flooring, what I'd expect it wouldn't be actual timber flooring. Quite compact spaces, but very wide hallways, which is very strange. So clicking through these photos, the kitchen once again appears to be renovated, and renovated on the cheap. It looks like floor planks have been used as the actual backing board for that island bench on the wall, and wherever they could. It is definitely laminate new handles, and this family is truly enjoying life outside more than inside. They have renovated a couple spaces not too many, a strange narrow office, and a lot of focus on that main living room. So I'm expecting some strange elements as we progress. The bathroom, of course, a little bit dated, ceiling fans dated, very small compact rooms, a nice big garage, an office directly off the garage, big workshop as well. This looks like a large house. Let's move on to Brisbane and let's move through these very quickly. $900,000 gets you a rundown home that needs a lot of love. It seems very large. It seems like there's been some minor renovations, but you need to spend a bit more money. So Brisbane, not a good start. Moving on, $950,000, 3x2, 172 square meters. Very, very small, very challenging to get into spaces like this toilet, squeezing between the shower and the vanity basin. Dated, not cleaned, not maintained, but it is just a small little unit. So now you're starting to spend almost $1 million for townhouses as we move into the more established areas of Australia. 1.62 million. This is our most expensive home on the list in Queensland. And I like Queensland because it's got a very lush tropical feel. So of course, we have our pool, we have our skillion design, we have a very private home from the street. Black, white combination, very timeless, very minimal. I like it. Overall, a little bit dated, a little bit old, probably a good 10 years prior to this being renovated. Floorboards look either original or recently re-varnished. Nonetheless, we do have some nice furniture curation, we do have some nice art, we do have an overall lovely home. The pool overlooks the top of the canopies, which will be quite lovely on a hot summer's night with its own little water feature, lush green landscaping all around you. Nothing too much to complain about. Security screens are very ugly, they need to be replaced, but this looks like a renovation once again. So continuing to flick through these pictures, very old tiles that they haven't managed to replace, some exposed brickwork, and a few little porching spaces that they've created for themselves. We've dropped our price here a little bit, $1.4 million for almost 1,000 square meters of land, which looks like this property is not ready to knock. I was actually genuinely thinking that this was a demolition project considering this first image. However, the home is still in decent condition. You could knock it if you wanted to. It looks like it's already been planned for some sort of subdivision with that retaining wall and gate, but the house is smack bang in the middle of the property. Overall, you could continue to live here, you could continue to use it. Massive, massive backyard. So if you had animals and pets and wanted to build up, apparently you could. You'd get a view of the city. There we go. Definitely a little laneway down to the side to a future subdivision. So here you're paying a good $1.4 million for a future subdivision. Moving back down to the $1 million mark now at 1.1. Older homes, again, a bit larger, a bit nicer, all brick on the outside, plasterboards, dated kitchens, dated interiors. Nonetheless, a home that has been lived in, it has been looked after, and it has been loved, but it does need a renovation nonetheless. You're getting a genuinely large enough property, open plan in a sense, multiple living areas, multiple bedrooms, up to 6 if you don't count the study. So $1.1 million, you get a nice large home, but nothing too architectural. Now that we've smashed through a number of the states, we have hit one of the most popular spaces in Australia, and that is Sydney. 1.35 million is our starting real estate property, 55 square meters. I'll say that again, 1.35 million for 55 square meters. This may be the nicest looking property, but it is the smallest and the most expensive per square meter. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Gets you some floorboards and some cabinetry. You do get a nice little balcony nonetheless, and some awning screens, natural stones, which have been well done, very architecturally thought through, as well as the range hood and everything. So yes, you are paying for quality here, but it is a 1-bedroom apartment that you're expected to basically live outside. Bathrooms, very nice, nothing to complain about. Our floor plan is literally a studio apartment. Your bedroom does not really even have a door. So you're paying $1.3 million, $1.35 million for the tiniest space we've seen today. Clearly this trend is going to continue because $1.4 million gets you an apartment with an undisclosed floor area. What do we have? We have a curved glass facade. We have very, very small areas, tile to carpet combinations, not thought through. A little bit dated kitchen, needs a bit of love, needs a bit of work, not my color personally. Nice amenities, nice concealed services in what appears to be a nice building. Maybe next time we look at some Sydney houses, see what they have on the market, see what they're really spending for what we would call a typical $1 million home here in Western Australia. Another apartment, $1.5 million, but it's double the space, a little bit nicer, same sort of vibe, nothing too special. 1.5 million for 2 bedrooms. So once again, Sydney, nothing too special. Continuing on. We have our first house here in Sydney on 76 square meters, 1.35 million again, but it is technically a house. It may have partition walls. It is definitely renovated. It is small, it's compact, but it's cute. It's a little bit architectural. It's got some nice wood doors, some nice wood paneling, some great real estate photos, but that's all it's got going for it. And an attic storage space of 35 square meters. So moving up, 1.5 gets you a dilapidated, breaking down home, structural cracks, what it looks like, squished between 2 other massive properties. I'll just flick through the photos here. I don't think I need to talk much. $1.5 million. I won't be moving to Sydney soon. Last but not least, 1.5 to 1.6. It looks like it's out of town, a nice home here. Probably a little bit more architectural, very, very well executed, nice selections, nice finishes. Timber wrapped range hood, pitched roofs, big glass facades, very, very decent quality throughout. This is by far the highest architectural home we've seen in this price budget. 1.6 million is significantly over what we started with, but it is the best. So there is a vast difference between 1 and 1.6. I think we're going to skip Canberra for the time being and move directly to Hobart and start with this gigantic $1 million monolithic box. It has been rendered, it has been renovated. It is only the top floor, so it is not the full house. That got me. But you are paying for some nice views, some nice amenities. It is definitely dated, definitely weathered, needs renovation. A little bit of an ocean view, which is very nice. Fireplace, beautiful trees out the front, very well landscaped, nice views of the neighboring properties. So you're paying for here amenities, location, and that's about it. 370 square meters, almost $1.4 million on the other hand, gets you a cute little architecturally renovated cottage. Some beautiful skylights here and ceiling details that we haven't seen in any of the other properties. A very dated kitchen, of course, small little garage, Victorian style, black door frames, arched windows, restored fireplace, and an antique office area. Overall, I would have expected this to be a worker's cottage back in the day. So for $1.3 million, probably in a good area, needs a little bit more work, but you're not far off. Now we've hit that $1 million mark again in Tasmania, which is a lovely thing to see. Just under $1 million gets you uninterrupted ocean views. Glass walls, multiple surrounds, built on a cliff face, retaining mass amounts. A little bit of a dated home, of course, but look at those views. They're absolutely breathtaking. You've got the bay, you've got boats, you've got the mountains in the background, and that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the view and the land. So the home probably needs a little bit of a renovation in the bathrooms and the kitchens and the laundry, but overall, $1 million, again, ocean views. Tasmania seems to be the gold mine for sure. 1.2 million, ocean views, double-story home, renovated, of course. Reasonably well, large backyard, nothing that you'd have to really touch, ready to move in with ocean views. So 1.285 million, Tasmania, definitely leading the way. Last but not least, we're again hitting that $1 million mark. It has got exposed wood columns, ceiling beams, and natural timber floors. Grand is a word that could definitely be used to describe this property. 180-degree ocean views, decking around balconies. A very natural and unique home. Red splashbacks, not for me. However, everything else works genuinely quite well. Anyway, that's all from me, team. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the subscribe button and the like button down below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. But like always, I will see you next week.